Hello. Welcome to a new series on the channel. Today, some of you may have seen from my recent Twitch streams. Basically, we're starting a new run of GTNH. My stream world went, and that finally gave me an excuse to test out the 2.9 beta versions. Now, you might be asking yourself, hey, what is GTNH? If you haven't been on this side of YouTube at least. Hi, welcome. Glad you started here. GTNH is otherwise known as GregTech New Horizons. It's one of, if not the best 1.7.10 mod packs that I've played. Combines a lot of my favorite magic, tech, and adventuring mods. Mainly in this messed up web that is called GregTech. It's a very infamous mod, wherein you basically microcraft everything. There's so much microcrafting. It's tedious. However, you basically, to make a door, you have to craft screws. That's the level of microcrafting here. You can start there and then work your way up to basically things that generate dimensions to mine materials over a course of several hours, but now we're starting nowhere near that point. We're starting right after my streams kind of stopped. I wanted to try to do this more in the stream and video way. I figured videos can kind of focus more on explaining content and actually getting through the quest book. However, on stream we died a lot trying to even get basic materials. Rookie mistake starting at a dungeon. But it left us with quite a bit of armor and tools, and then basically all the ingots that I have. But yeah. We are currently in a mesa, in this canyon biome. Now, I chose this because it looked cool. That's basically it. It serves no other purpose. It actually hinders us in a couple of ways when we need to start collecting water for steam. But that's because of the humidity of the biome. I think it's like 10% humidity, so we'd be getting 1 millibucket a second or something stupid like that. There's thankfully a grove biome nearby and a swamp of sorts. I think it's a swamp or a mire just over the hill, so we'll be getting water there as it's like a 9 millibucket per second or something like that. I'm not quite sure. But my goal for this video was to basically progress as far as I could and try to get into the Steam Age. You'll quickly see that doesn't happen. I get distracted a lot. That's going to be a common theme with all of these. However, kind of the big goal right now is to get food set up. Food in this pack is awful. Spice of life and diminishing returns on food kind of just screws up a lot of early game food sources, so you have to spec into Pam's Harvest Craft a lot. Make 17 billion different types of food. But, thankfully, each new food you consume, you get you fill a progress bar, and every time you level that up, you get a new heart canister, which is why you'll see I have orange hearts over my red hearts. I just have almost another row of hearts from the foods that I've collected to eat. And yeah, it's just a fun time. But sprinting and jumping also drains hunger insanely fast, so it's best not to do it. I still do anyway and suffer the consequences, but it is what it is. But when we get that underway, it should help make us progress a little bit faster. That doesn't quite work out. We end up just using dungeon loot and loot bags for most of our food for the first couple hours anyway. food takes forever to grow, and you need about 17 different ingredients for said food, so it's just a waiting game. You will notice in this pack a lot of it is time gated, especially later on in the pack. If we get to EV, IV, all the higher electrical tiers, things just take so long to craft. And that's not really anything I can do unless I make more machines, which then takes more time to craft, and it's a scaling problem. I don't want to say it's exponential, but it's some function logarithmic or something along those lines. Sure, you can make a couple more machines and then it boosts it by a little bit, and then there's just no way around it. However, as you can see, we start planting some cotton, so we have some early game string. I have a couple of trees planted around apple, banana, orange, and then a paper bark. Paper's important for tinkers when we get to it, because vanilla tools don't work. Yay. But yeah. I'm currently just constructing more of the farmland so we actually have a place to grow things. And of course, because I picked this canyon biome, everything's made with this stupid hardened dirt that requires a pickaxe to break, and we have flint tools, so everything takes 17 times longer to break. Thankfully, we should get past that point here soon. By soon, I mean 40 minutes from now. But, yeah. I apparently take longer to design a farm plot than a normal person. For some reason, I can't get the 4 blocks away from the water source right, even though I've been playing this game for 10 years. Now, I've been playing it for longer than 10 years, but that's not the point. We burn through a lot of flint in this stretch because Maddox have like 10 durability, so every couple of seconds I have to go back and fix it and then sleep because mobs are insane in this pack. We have the infernal modifiers for mobs, which makes them uber strong. Sometimes you'll get a gravity creeper, which just decides to break your game. Zombies will have regen 75 and then also set you on fire, wither you, poison you, and make you drown all at the same time. Sometimes you'll also get creepers that spawn a giant orb of water with silverfish cobblestone, which is great time to clean up. Thankfully, we haven't had one of those explode yet. But here I'm just planting some more of the different crops I've collected from Pam's Harvest Craft Gardens, even though I forget how to do it at first. Right-clicking it pops the garden into your inventory, and I meant to left-click. I'm so smart. But we're just going to do this for a little bit, just try to get food source up. But yeah. Early game's pretty slow. There's not a whole lot you can do, mainly because you don't have the infrastructure to create resources. My goal was to originally get a smeltery done. That's probably not going to happen with me trying to keep these videos relatively short. Relatively in quotes. It's still going to take a while because there's a lot of important stuff that I get done. Like stare at a chest for 5 seconds, because that's important. Anywho, breaking more gardens, planting more crops. Yeah. How about that weather? Mm-hmm. Hopefully I can at least be a little bit entertaining while these kind of boring segments are on. I should fire my editor. Oh wait, I can't, that's me. Actually, speaking on that, if anybody has tips, willing to listen. starting off with this self-taught. You can tell I'm not anywhere film related. Um, yeah, I have a major in chemistry. Quite the antithesis of editing or being funny. Yep. I'd ask about sports teams, but I know nothing about them. What other water cooler talk can I make? Yeah. Um, Organizing's important to me. You see, I screw it up a couple of times, but it'll get better here towards the end of the episode. Well, middle of the episode. I am doing this as a voiceover, mainly because editing the 4 hours that I had for this video, it would make no sense if I just cut everything I was saying. I kind of blab a lot. I don't know if anybody cares. I usually just say it for my own benefit most of the time. Forgot how long this farming section went on. I guess I can talk about future base plans. So, from my vision for this kind of biome, I want to do a somewhat multi-tiered base approach, kind of, at least until we move on to a pocket dimension eventually in HV, I believe is when that unlocks. So basically, put all this work in to then move everything. But half the fun's building, at least in my opinion. That's what I've done for years. I was always the builder. May not look at it first because I have a very limited palette, but I think hardened clay looks good when used correctly. Kind of gives a, what's the, like, Pueblo kind of esque look, where they're all carved into the mountainside. But I want to kind of stick to the shape of the biome. You'll see here later on that I end up doing that. Actually, I think it's right around here that I start zooming up there. But, or not. I can't remember. I may have just pieced all this together, but terrible memory here. Yeah. Well, that was the first 13 minutes so far. At least that's where I'm recording this now. I could move it around. I don't know. Yeah. Fun times. Sleeping because, again, enemies are terrible in this. I think on stream we died 6 times in not very long. We started off with no armor and then a village spawn where I got a bronze longsword. Or broadsword, not longsword. And that kind of did not do much. But hey, we're at least moving away from the farm now. We're going up the side of the mesa. We're gonna dig into the mesa. Yay! But you can see I struggle building a staircase up the side. We'll fix this eventually. But it temporary, kind of just scaffolding up. Because I want to use the higher piece first as the quote-unquote bedroom. And as you can see here, we're speeding up footage because, again, mining takes 17 years in this with a flint pickaxe, even though it has a diamond tip. But, yeah. That's probably copyright. I can't do that. Yep. Just digging. At least we can use the clay later for different projects, especially grinding it up into clay dust. Saves us a lot of time harvesting clay to grind up into small piles. It's also kind of why I chose this biome. My last run, I kind of got screwed out of clay for a while. And that was even in multiplayer. But I eventually want to complete this pack. I've gotten as far as IV tier, which isn't saying much. There's a lot of tiers after that. We go up to UHV, and I think there's one tier after that, but I can't think. A lot of multi-blocks. So if tech is your thing, stick around. We will get there, hopefully. Hopefully quality of these also go up a little bit as I learn more, but no promises. Still just digging. If you get tired of watching digging, oh, just you wait. There's more digging after this. Because I decide to also build the top of this before I do much of anything else. But I'd rather not die every 2 seconds to a mob coming into my base. Which is why we had a temporary enclosure down at the bottom. Here I play around with a couple of things and realize I don't like it, so I place it back. Fill in a little bit so it looks a little bit more smooth. And then come down, look at crops. Make some food, because again, food sucks in this pack. Wait here for a naturally long period of time. Repair tools. Sleep. No, I grab my bed first, and then I go up and put it upstairs. Fill in that hole. I come to later regret doing that, because I need to get stone for the quest that gives me an iron pickaxe head. Don't know why I didn't do that sooner. That would have saved me so much time. But kind of just making this look a little bit nicer. It's hard to do with limited blocks, but basically just expanding this so I can put stuff in here, finally. Eventually get to moving all the chests and storage up here. But yeah. Hey, now we at least have a room. That's kind of well lit. Again, I stand around a lot. It's kind of just my thing. Standing and digging. It's probably what this first episode is summed up as. I think I edited out about 30 to 40 minutes of just standing. And then sped up the other hour. Chopping tree now. Can't remember why I chopped a tree. Probably storage. Yeah. Thankfully, loot bags give some food. Um, I probably would have been starving a long time ago if they didn't. And again, we just stand inside of a chest. Very good at that. Yep. Just standing. Yeah, in my head, this looked a lot better. Sped up. I was probably trying to write part of the script, which, as you can tell, the script did not go as well as I wanted. But again, not a writer. I work in a lab. Once we get to the chemical stuff, I can talk a little bit more, but we have a little bit before that. I think MV is when that really starts to pop off. Well, LV into MV, which we're still 2 technical tiers away from. Yay. Now I just paused the game. At least we're not looking at a chest. Still just standing here. I guess this would be a good time if, for some reason, you enjoy this. Leave a like, subscribe, comment, tell me what I'm doing wrong if you don't like it. I'm open to any criticism. Genuinely helps a lot. And now we're back to probably moving chests up. No, just fixing tools. I end up putting an emerald on my pickaxe to give it some more durability because I hate repairing it. Planting some more cotton because string is the lifeblood of some things. Now I go ahead and start moving stuff upstairs. Um, as you can tell, I like trying to be organized, even if it doesn't always come off that way in this. I do have a method to some of my madness. And now we're just staring at a chest again. Okay. I had to stop and eat because hunger drain. Up and down we go. See how long it takes to end that. The answer to that is it doesn't stop. It just never stops. I think this took 25 minutes, and I've sped this up to about 500 or 5x. The value's 500, so I end up getting a lot of hardened clay from this project, so nothing else. There's that. Now I'm tearing down my temporary structure because it looked awful. I had 5 blocks to my name. I missed the staircase the first time. Down we go. Grab the last chest. At least most of it. Break down the roof. So now it's somewhat uniform with the rest of the terrain. Grab the rest of the crops from down here. And then here's the new base for right now. For about 5 seconds until I decide to make an expansion. But at least then I can talk about more of it. Because I want to make the place kind of look as natural as possible while we pollute the environment to unforeseen values. Machines produce a lot of pollution, especially if you're running 17 blast furnaces at the same time. So, if I can make it look decent, then I will. Here is where I start deciding that I'm going to expand upwards. Again, a lot of digging. This is basically my, I want to say my farm plot that I'm going to start designing up here. It's a lot of greenery, basically tearing away all the hardened clay, hardened dirt, and then replacing it with dirt and grass. Again, until pollution starts killing everything. It's a fun time. The Industrial Revolution has seen nothing yet. Here I start terraforming up there to make it all flat, because flat surface is good for a farm. It's a lot of those short little trees that are annoying because you have to find the one block that has all of the leaves attached to it. But yeah, clearing out the space. Then I have to fill it in with dirt. Thankfully, my pickaxe does actually level up a couple of times here, so I have a couple of modifier slots on it now, which will make making better tools for later easier. I won't have to waste as many of the extra modifier perks that you can add to tools. Still digging. Like I said, common theme for this episode. We actually do a little bit of progression here towards the end. I promise. You still got about 20-ish minutes until, but if you put this on in the background while you're doing work, it's kind of mindless entertainment as a stretch. Those pine trees are awful. They're incredibly tall, and not all of their leaves decay when you break all the logs, which is great. I think I stripped a log there to see what it would look like. It's not great, but here's me just trying to get enough food to get some extra hearts and Also not starve to death. I finally gain some intelligence and bring my tool station up so I can repair my tools up here. It's just a lot of digging, man. I hate to break it to you. We haven't even gotten to start mining for resources yet, but I might cut some of that out later if I end up continuing this. Well, I'm probably going to continue it. I have nothing else to do. This is kind of the passion project that I'm starting because I need something to do. Life starts to get a little bit boring after you kind of hit the milestones. Usually I'm with other people when I play these kind of things, but my friends don't really care for this pack. It's a little too grindy for them. But I have enough free time in my life that it doesn't really matter. And if I can try to, I don't know, entertain people, or at least push off the impending clock that is life, I would like to do so. But here I'm at least starting to fill in some of the dirt. The grass isn't the greatest color in this biome, but I stopped caring hours ago, days ago even. I think I've been trying to put this video into works for a week now. I'm so sorry if anybody wants a consistent upload schedule. That is not me in the slightest, because I'm still trying to work out how to do this most efficiently. And even then, efficiency is not my name. It doesn't even... I'm quite literally on the opposite side of the spectrum of efficiency. But just filling in some more of the dirt, letting the grass grow. Looking at recipes for dirt, because we run out of dirt. I think I ended up going to mine some more dirt from the biome next to us, because this hardened stuff just sucks. I'm so sorry, this video is so not entertaining. I hope it gets better. I'll try. I promise. If it takes me a couple of episodes, I'm gonna talk to a couple of my friends that actually know what they're doing for this. See if I can figure out the best way of doing this. I've been trying to look into other people that are making videos like this to see, like, what the best way of editing and filming this kind of stuff is, and it really just comes down to the time that you have to cut out and figure out what you're talking about to fill in time. But I'm not good on the spot. I promise I will get better at this whole thing. Every new video is a learning experience, and that's kind of why people rely on comments and other outside information. Right now, I'm trying to figure out my food supply, so I'm making a Cooking for Blockheads book, because it would it'll make it easier to grab different recipes from food that I have. here actually in a few seconds, we're going to be starting to actually progress and make a coke oven. I know it's crazy. We're actually going to do progression this episode. It only took 35 minutes. I can't believe if there's anybody still listening to this video, you listen to me yabber on for 35 minutes. I'm so sorry. I know this can't be that entertaining unless you have a weird complex that you just like to suffer. Which then, you know what? Stick around. It helps. Here, we're just finding the endless amounts of dirt that I need. Uh, if nothing else, if I don't progress, I'm usually building. So I have a very interesting building style, mainly because I don't really have a set building style that I like. I kind of just pull pieces from different architectural things. I was actually originally going to go to school for architecture, and then that wasn't going to pan out how I wanted it. So for some reason, I chose chemistry. Enough about me, though. How's everybody doing? Seriously, use comments to talk, vent. I may not be that old, but I have a lot of life experience for no reason. Might be able to help. Here, we're kind of just beautifying my staircase. I end up deciding I don't really care for it, so it'll probably be gone next episode. It's like weird platform tower thing. I going back through editing, I was like, it doesn't really look that great. I like the terracotta brick, but that's about it. I think it also doesn't help that it's just kind of freestanding right there. Like there's nothing else attached to it or connecting it with anything. I like everything to kind of be cohesive, and it just sticks out like a sore thumb. And then I decided to put dirt on top of it to put grass on it, and I also don't understand why I did that. I was recording this at like 3 in the morning. There's a little bit of slack here that I need. I think I actually recorded this after the stream that I did, so I was even kind of drained after that, so I don't know. Yeah, the weird double high brick layer on that also doesn't look good. It looks like I'm trying to recreate a villager house very poorly. Now here I built a dirt staircase so I can spread grass up there, but that'll be gone next episode. Now here's where I actually think I start preparing materials for a coke oven. Yay! We'll have charcoal soon, and so much creosote oil that I have no idea what to do with. 108 unfired clay brick. Coke oven brick, sorry. Yeah, early game, everything kind of just relies on the three sand, clay, and gravel. Um, so you have to mine a lot of it, and then you still don't mine enough of it. And then you get to a point where you just have so much of it that you don't know what to do with, and then you just shove it in a storage drawer or a barrel and then forget about it. We're smelting stuff now using the coal that I got from a roguelike dungeon at this point days ago. They boost your resource gathering so much. You just don't have to think. You just have to prevent mobs from spawning, and then you're good. I wait to sleep. And I think I gather materials and then come back and smelt the rest of the bricks, build the coke oven, and then go from there. I really just stand around a lot. I think I was trying to fill time, but then I had 3 hours of footage that I had no use for. But hey, we're almost to the end of the episode. Thank you for sticking around if you got to this point. I know I keep saying that, but I really do appreciate it. Here's where I'm remembering how many coke oven bricks it takes. I don't remember why I went outside. I know I jump, which is not a great idea when food is so scarce and you can't regen as quick. Nothing like bamboo shoots in the morning. And then I think an eggplant. Balanced diet here, people. A lot of early game is just eating until you get a healing axe, and then you never have to think about eating again. I know I want to try to get one as early as I can, but that's hard to do unless you can find a divination sigil and then an enchantment table, which is locked behind a tier of technology. I can't remember which one. Or you can find one in a roguelike dungeon. The wizard tower specifically, there's a hidden room that has one. Or there's also loot games. I'm awful at Minesweeper though, so I probably won't go that direction for one. Technically, there's also a quest reward that gives a healing axe, but that also takes a bunch of Pam's Harvestcraft stuff. And I think I sacrificed most of my gardens to build my crop plot. Here's me trying to kill time while my bricks smelt. And I think go to the desert to grab sand. I scouted the desert out on stream. Um, this area is actually really good for a lot of the early game materials. So hopefully we won't have too much of a problem there. I know on my multiplayer world where I was on stream, it took so long to gather some of the material. We were in a lavender fields biome, so there was like nothing. I know I want to try to rush into Thaumcraft as early as I can. There's a lot of material duplication kind of things, like using the aspects to duplicate materials. That's going to be good for when we get to like steel, so I don't have to wait as long to produce it. But that involves getting a crucible and a wand. So villagers are going to be in our future, so I can get the Oh, the contract wands that give you temper, or is it permanent warp? It's one of the three warps, and but that's for later date. Good news is villagers are easy to mass produce in this version. Just have to give them doors. They really just like doors. A lot easier than in newer versions where you have to actually feed them. I can't even feed myself in the game. Nothing like slow walking because you don't have food. Actually, I think I had food in my inventory. I was just dumb. I do a lot of stupid things this episode. My priorities were not correct in the slightest. I mean, you've seen that. Like I should have prioritized actually building a stable food source. What can you do at this point? Just gotta sit back and enjoy the ride. Or not enjoy it. It's up to you. But if you do, thank you. Running back to base. Well, falling back to base. I still don't learn that I can't fly. Hopefully, when we get into magic, that'll also change. Thaumostatic harness would be amazing, even if it's not the greatest flight. It's still flight. Really don't know what I'm doing here, other than just walking. Early game GTNH is kind of a walking simulator, or a standing still simulator, even. With these shaders, though, this biome looks amazing. I'm so glad I found it. I put that water stream there on stream when I was coming back from the desert, mainly because I forgot to pick up my water, which is also great. There's no infinite water sources, so here I'm finally crafting my coke oven bricks. And for some reason, it takes me so long to figure out that it's a 4x4, or not 4x4, 2x2 in the crafting grid. But hey, charcoal. Once I place down the multi block. Yes, let's put a heavily polluting multi block next to where you sleep. That's smart. Said no one ever. I have to wear a gas mask to sleep now. All in the pollution. Won't buy it. Sorry, I'm going insane. Hopefully the keeping videos under an hour helps with that. I would like to make them shorter, but I also kind of suck at figuring out what content to cut out. I tried to keep some more of the interesting gameplay elements in. I probably should have just cut out the digging. Then I would have had like a 10-minute video. Yeah, that might not be terrible though. But yeah, now we're gonna get the charcoal and figure out where we go next. It's claiming that and then upgrading our tools after getting the cobblestone quest done to get the iron pickaxe head. Loot bags are never on my side. I got tracks from that one because that's so useful. Thankfully, we get some food from this quest. That actually helps a lot. I cut getting the cobblestone because that was just me mining 4 stacks of cobblestone. No one wants to see that. But now we have iron pickaxe and iron shovel. Thankfully, we have some of the material to repair it, thanks to the roguelike. I know next episode we're going to do a lot of mining, but that's at least a little bit more interesting. GregTech has ore veins that are actually kind of neat. But yeah, thank you again, and see you next time.